Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. And today, we're going to be taking a trip back in time to review The Adam Project, one of the latest Netflix movies here hitting the streets. So, Devin, how are you doing today, man? Happy Thursday.
It is Thursday.
It's Thursday, buddy. I think that is we're almost towards the end of the week, so it's been a lot of fun so far. But yes, so how's your week been? Just been what you been watching? What you been playing this week?
Well, I just want to apologize to all the listeners out there because we are only broadcasting this to our 12-year-old selves.
Yeah,
they're the only ones that can hear this.
Yeah, sorry guys. This is for it's what do they call the timed capsule time box thing that people do when they're younger, and then they're like, I want to be a skateboarder and whatever, and then you open up that time box.
I want to be a podcaster.
You're right. You open up that box and it's like, oh, nothing I wanted to be when I was a kid has come true. Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a singer when I was younger, so I guess podcasting is the next best thing. So yeah, here we are, broadcasting to our 12-year-old selves, so that'll be a lot of fun. But before we begin today's episode, a little bit of housekeeping here for everyone. You can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, you name it, and even iHeartRadio. And also, if you're a big Pandora fan, we're on there as well. So just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there. But if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter. We're almost at 1,000 followers on Twitter. So I think that deserves a nice little cheer. Definitely. We're almost there. And you can always follow us at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X on Instagram and Twitter. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Man, damn it. Are you ready to go back in time and visit your 12-year-old self?
I don't even know what I would say.
I don't know what I would say.
Have a catch, pal?
Yeah.
Let's have a catch, buddy.
It would be so weird. It's like, what would you tell your past self? It's always something to think about for sure. But I know that Ryan Reynolds definitely went to go visit his past self. So we're going to be right back after this introduction to The Adam Project.
Do you remember this? I mean, if this is happening to me, it already happened to you, right? Unless it works more like a multiverse where each replicates an alternate timeline.
A multiverse. My God, we watched too many movies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our The Adam Project review. Again, this is one of the latest movies to hit Netflix. As I've mentioned before in other podcasts, I feel like I always default to say Netflix series instead of Netflix movie because Netflix does a way better job with their TV shows than they do with their movies. But I definitely think this is one of the better ones, for better or worse. We'll definitely get into it.
Maybe this could have been better as a series.
You know what? I've wondered that too. I feel like a lot of movies have fallen to that default. I remember. Well, did you see Chaos Walking?
Nope.
The Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland. I did.
I saved my eyes.
Luckily, I saw it at home. I didn't have to go to the movie to see that movie. But that movie went through production, some production trials there. So unfortunately, there are a lot of movies out there that should have probably been adapted into a TV series or at least a limited series, if anything else. So we'll definitely get into that here today. But let me read the movie info for The Adam Project. This movie is directed by Shawn Levy, who also, I believe, directed Free Guy.
Yeah, written and directed.
Yeah, written and directed. And Ryan Reynolds stars in both. And of course, the writers include Jonathan Tropper, T.S. Nowlin, and Jennifer Flackett. That was a funny last name. I like that last name. And of course, stars Ryan Reynolds, Walker Scobell, Mark Ruffalo, and Zoe Saldana, just to name a few. And the synopsis is as follows. A time-traveling pilot teams up with his younger self as his late father comes to terms with his past while saving the future. The future is now, old man. The future is now. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to kind of just get into our non-spoiler section. We're going to see how far that takes us. If we feel like we are getting into spoilers, of course, you're going to hear that little bad boy. But for now, we're just going to do a non-spoiler overview for you guys. I feel like this isn't going to take super, super long. But Devin, give me your initial reactions of the Adam Project.
Yeah, I came into this one really excited. I remember really liking the initial trailer that came out. It kind of just looks like a solid classic 80s, 90s type of feel-good kids movie, like the Steven Spielberg type. Really wanted to like it going in, but there's just a few issues that I had that really kept me from thoroughly enjoying it. Obviously, anything that Ryan Reynolds is in is going to have a certain floor as far as entertainment value, because he's just consistently entertaining no matter what he's in. Like even the worst stuff, like Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, like not a good movie, but Ryan Reynolds is in it, so he makes it at least watchable. Mm-hmm. So there's always at least that to fall back on. But I just had some issues with the story. It just felt kind of rushed to me. Like all of it, just all the character development just felt very rushed. We don't really have any time with any of the characters to get to know them. So then when the emotional parts hit, it doesn't really hit as hard because we don't really know who these people are.
I would have to agree with you on some points. And I'm actually, as of this recording, it's not on Netflix as of right now, is it? Because I'm seeing an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So it may be in some parts of the world, it might be already out. I really don't know. But as of right now, the audience score is sitting at a 92% and the critic score. So actually, let me backtrack that. For the audience score for the 92%, it's fewer than 50 ratings. And then the critic side, the tomato meter, is sitting at a 67%, which means it's still fresh, sitting at about 75 reviews here. I feel like a few of my initial reactions will echo Devin's, but some not as much. I do feel like this was like a close knit. Like I felt the pacing was kind of nice for the most part. But it did seem to have a pattern where, it was go, 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 then stop, then they kind of like regroup, collect themselves. They have those heavy dialogue scenes, and then they, rush to the next location. I do believe that with this movie, it deals with a lot of themes such as grief and forgiveness and pain and whatnot. And I really feel like they could have dug a little bit deeper when it came to that. On Letterboxd, I actually wrote out saying that it is one of Netflix's better films in their catalog. It definitely is filled with a lot of like tear-jerking moments. It's very emotional. It does get you thinking and kind of, it does. I think what the movie does best is, not to take time for granted and to, enjoy your parents while they are still here, because, we all know how that goes. But I do believe that this is something that the entire family will enjoy. But like I said before, I wish the themes were digging a little bit deeper within grief and loss. Mark Ruffalo and Ryan Reynolds and the whole gang, even Walker Scobell, who played young Adam. I think they all did a great job.
I was going to bring that up because I thought that was great casting to be able to keep up with Ryan Reynolds' unscripted, quick-witted quips.
Yeah. And like a lot of people say that, Ryan Reynolds seems, it's more of he's being typecasted, or not typecasted, I should say. What is this? But one of my coworkers is saying that she and he, they both love Ryan Reynolds, but it feels like ever since Deadpool, he's kind of just playing Deadpool outside of the suit.
Yeah, he's just kind of doing what works for him.
Right.
And it feels like either you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it. More so recently, it feels like people are starting to get tired of it. I'm still a fan. I think he's very entertaining and just gets the job done for me.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. I definitely see where the controversy or just the disagreement of him, playing playing a version of Deadpool and all these other
This was
roles.
quite the Marvel reunion in this movie too. Got Deadpool, Gamora, Bruce Banner, Elektra.
Oh, that's right, Elektra. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot Jennifer Garner.
I want, after seeing this, I want Deadpool and Gamora to have a bit of a little side piece there. Get Peter Quill some competition.
I mean, honestly, like you said, this is a very Marvel heavy movie, but there are a lot of sci-fi elements in this, and it really is more of like a sci-fi comedy, action adventure type situation. But I like I was going back to like what you were saying about Ryan Reynolds, or agreeing with what I was talking about. It really is like you either take it or you leave it. I think it works for him. I still haven't seen Red Notice, but it's just anytime Ryan Reynolds is on screen, like I'm gonna laugh. Like he's just a funny guy.
Like I said, like whatever movie he's in, there's gonna be a floor for the entertainment value just because he's in it.
Exactly, and not even just. I mean, the writing in this was actually, for the most part, was actually pretty well, especially the scenes between Adam, who's played by Ryan Reynolds, and young Adam, played by Walker Scobell. And then throwing Mark Ruffalo into the mix. I mean, it's been a while since, we've kind of seen him on the silver screen, or, at home or in any movie. I saw him in another film early after Avengers Endgame, or was it right before? It was something called not Deep Water, but I think it had the term water in it, but I can't put my
Dark Waters.
Dark Waters. That's what it was. That was the last movie I saw him in.
Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's true. That's true. That's very true. I forgot he was in Shang-Chi. So yeah, Dark Waters came out right after Avengers Endgame. So that was the last. It was a pretty good movie, and it's nice to see the MCU cast, branching out and just doing other things. And they always have been. It's just really nice from, people out there who may only watch Marvel movies. I think it's really nice for them to kind of go through these, actors and actresses' filmography. But like I said, there's a lot of things that worked with me in this movie when it came to grief and, the sorrow and just the overall forgiveness factor. But again, I really wish they would have done a little bit deeper. I think Zoe Saldana, for the time that she's in this movie, for her appearance, I think she does a really good job. I do I like the pacing, but I do feel like it is a little bit too fast, because I felt like they could have touched on just a few more things
They just get right into it, and they just throw characters at you and you don't know anything about them. I think my biggest issue with this movie is the antagonist.
Yeah, I was actually.
It's one of the worst I've seen in a movie, I think. Nothing against the actress, Catherine Keener. She's great. She was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, Get Out. She's great. Yeah. But this just the character just did not work, because we don't know who she is. We don't know what her motivations are, why she's doing this. We don't know anything about her. She just shows up, and then we get to a point where there's some de-aging that goes on, and that is as bad as it gets. It was.
I was really hoping they wouldn't go that route. Even on Rotten Tomatoes, her highest rated movie that she's been in is Get Out in 2017. So it's, like I said, I love Catherine Keener, but I will say the film lost me a little bit with the villain, because I couldn't really make the connection. I still don't know
what her motivation was.
I don't either. And I think that was the biggest issue.
And then her younger self showing up made everything even just so much worse.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The sci-fi action scenes in this movie are amazing.
Yeah. The CGI was really good.
Yeah. Overall. Surprisingly good. Minus the villain aspects. Yeah. I feel like there was good enough balance between the action and, you know, the dialogue scenes. I just wish we would have got a little bit more of, you know, the expedition when it came to the dialogue scenes. But I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I mean, I think everyone here has like surprisingly good chemistry outside of the villain. Like everyone, like it's a movie that definitely hits on all corners. And like I said, like I really think this is one of Netflix's best movies that they've made, because I mean, like just truth be told, they don't, like, a lot of the movies just don't do it for me. I mean, it's just a fact. Like, I think their strong suit has and always will be TV shows. It's easier to binge a TV show than it is to, you know, like binge like 2 or 3 movies back to back to back, depending on, you know, what they are and, you know, if you enjoy them or not. Because at least with episodes, you know, you can enjoy this, you know, a longer story within bite-sized chunks. But it's, ooh, man, oh man. So I guess, do you want to get into spoilers for a little bit? Yeah.
I mean, is there really that much to spoil?
Exactly. I was just about to ask you. It feels the same as Uncharted. There really isn't much to spoil because, I mean, you kind of mentioned it earlier, right before we got in around the housekeeping section, that there are just some movies that probably would have been better as a TV show. I think this would have worked better as a limited series. Give us like 2 seasons, no more. If you can do it in one, that's great. It's just, you know, the Adam Project itself, and
I mean, it's Shawn Levy. He's the Stranger Things guy. He knows how to do his TV show. Yeah,
which is very strange. I mean, you know, there's also the Duffer Brothers who are involved with that, but I mean, I don't know. I wish I liked this movie a lot more. And unfortunately there isn't. It really kind of sucks that, you know, there really isn't anything to spoil, like you said. So there's really no point of doing like a spoiler section. So I guess we don't get to use this bad boy anymore, at least for this episode. Kind of sucks, but I mean, overall, like it's a fun adventure. I loved especially between Jennifer Garner and Ryan Reynolds. Their scenes together really hit home. I feel like, I mean, that was probably some of the best dialogue of the entire movie was their interactions when they run into each other. Zoe Saldana, you know, like we said, she's great in everything that she does. You know, for the time that she's in this movie, it's she definitely makes a mark, and I wish that she was, you know, there for the rest of the ride. But you know, things happen, and it's this super crazy, weird time travel thing. But I wanted to ask you really quick, Devin, how do you think they handle time travel in this movie opposed to like Back to the Future or Avengers Endgame, or insert any other movie that, you know, introduces time travel?
I tend to not try to think too deep about that because it'll just end up hurting your brain. So I guess they went with like the idea that if you go back in time, you have your own set timeline. So then if you meet yourself, you'll both forget about it, I guess.
Kind of, in a way. As we've seen in this movie, it seems like there's a lot of gray areas when it comes to time travel, because it definitely seems like, you know, the rules as to, you know, not meeting your future self or like your past self and, you know, other people within your life. It doesn't really seem like there's any consequences in this time traveling universe, which I think is okay for especially a sci-fi. Like you said, there has to be a lot of suspense of disbelief, and things kind of, you just have to take things as they are, which is fine, I think. But I want to say I wish there was like some kind of time rule established. But again, I feel like that goes back to me stating that, you know, this movie would have been better as a series, and I feel like they would have been able to explore that a little bit more. But with the time jumps that we do get in this movie, I believe, you know, Ryan Reynolds' character, the future Adam, he is from the year 2050, a very far advanced civilization, by the way, in 2050. I'm like, I mean, that's not too far off, buddy. Like from us, I'm like 2050, they got, you know, these these, Star
travel.
Wars, time travel, Star Wars looking type machines and, aircraft, ships and whatnot. I'm like, man, it's not too far off. I would love to see that. But, overall,
I would like a machine to get ripped like Ryan Reynolds.
yes. I mean, hey, it is absolutely, man. Like who wouldn't, to be completely honest?
I think that was one of the better scenes where they're talking about his future, and he's just impressed at his structure.
Yeah, it is. I really did like the dynamic between them. And like we said, they broke a lot of roles because there is a lot of, stories that older Adam tells to younger Adam. But I think Walker Scobell, I think outside of, all of the the big, stars we've gotten this with like Mark Ruffalo, he was definitely, Walker Scobell was, I believe he's the one that probably stood out to me the most.
He held his own.
He really did. I mean, I'm not sure how old he is because, the picture on Rotten Tomatoes, he looks way older. So it makes me wonder when they filmed this movie, like when this movie was shot. But I really enjoyed his character. He was the kid who essentially, he loses his father. You see that in the trailer. And it's, again, as we've mentioned from our Euphoria review that's now up on the podcast, that I believe I mentioned that there were just some life changing moments that people just never get over. And, Ryan Reynolds' variant, I guess you could say, is the result of that. He tells them how, old Adam tells young Adam, like, things that happen within, the future. But I really like how they leave it open to where, there is no set timeline that, just because this is how, your variants or whatever, I guess we'll just call them variants, definitely end up doesn't mean, you can sprawl off and make your own timeline. So it's a bit weird, but I really, really wanted to like this, much like a Midnight Sky that is also on Netflix. It had so much potential, and another sci-fi adventure. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Devin, but it is a little bit longer than this one. I will say this one runs about an hour and 46 minutes, which I honestly kind of enjoy, but, let's get into final thoughts and ratings. So I'll pass it over to Devin because unfortunately there isn't really too much else that we can kind of talk about this. It's like, there's things that really did well and there's things that, fell flat, but I'll pass it over to Devin so we can give his final thoughts and rating, and then I'll give mine and we'll just close on out here for today.
I was looking at Walker Scobell's biography, and it shows that his favorite movie is Deadpool. Of course. Obviously. I wonder why. I wonder if that was his favorite before or after this movie. Did he have a little influence from Ryan.
It's not every day you get to work with Ryan Reynolds, so.
Exactly. And to be Ryan Reynolds, basically.
Like, how can you not laugh on set? Like, while you're in between taking, doing takes and stuff, it's like, I don't think I could hold it together.
Those unscripted quick quips. Like I mentioned, I really wanted to like it, but there were just a few like glaring flaws for me that really stood out more than most of the positives did. I was gonna go with like a 65. Like I said, with any Ryan Reynolds movie, there's gonna be a certain entertainment value if you enjoy his character, which is the same character in every movie. But I'm a fan, so. But yeah, the antagonist was really rough, and I felt like the character development wasn't there. It was just too rushed overall, keeping it from being a great movie. But
especially the ending,
I would say it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It unfortunately, like I said, for the villain, it just didn't do it. She's very forgetful. Like literally, I can't even remember. I can't even remember
that first scene with the de-aging. Oh my god!
I was like, it just didn't make any sense.
Are they really doing this?
I'm like, it didn't make any sense. Yeah, like
all the other CGI is so good, and then this scene just comes out of nowhere.
The action set piece
for no reason. What did they need it for?
Yeah, you literally could have just like touched her up, like, oh, okay, whatever, or like just gotten someone else who kind of looks like her to be like her double. I don't know. I can't really say Walker Scobell looks exactly like Ryan Reynolds, but you never know. Give it about 20 years or so. But yeah, like I said, the villain is just very forgettable. Wasn't a lot of depth there. Wasn't a lot of big stakes. I actually predicted how it was going to end. Not the entire movie, but how the big bad was going to be taken down. And, like much like you, man, like there was a lot of potential here. I gave it a 3.5 stars on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like that's hovering around. I mean, I'll bump it up to like a not 90. I'm sorry. I give it like a 69 around there.
Nice.
Yeah, no. For the old Captain Ryan Reynolds there. But yeah, like it's there was so much potential. Like there were parts I really wanted them to dig a little bit deeper into, and it just kind of fell flat. But like overall, I think people should watch this movie. Like it really is a good time. Like I had a great time watching it. I would definitely pick this up again if one of my friends wanted to watch it. We have nothing going on like a Friday or Saturday night or whatever. And I mean, I'd much rather watch this over a lot of other movies on Netflix. Thunder Force. I was forced to watch that one. I was like, oh, that just makes it even worse. But or Tall Girl, Tall Girl,
Tall Girl 2. 2 Girl, 2 Furious.
2 Girl, 2 Tall. But overall, like I said, I'll give it a 69. Like it's good. There was just so much left on the cutting room floor. So much potential which could have had with this one. So I mean, it is what it is, but like I said before, these are just two man's, opinions here on the podcast. We definitely encourage people to go check it out because it is a fun ride. It is one of those movies that you can definitely, just watch with the family, watch with your friends. It's one of those like fun, like popcorn movies. Like you can kind of just like, man, like that was good, but it's really hard for us for things to grasp our eye because we consume so much media. So it kind of falters there a little bit, but overall, like good movie. Like it's just, it could have been better. Hopefully maybe, I don't see them getting an Adam Project 2. But then again, I mean, Extraction's getting a second movie, so I guess anything's possible.
Oh yeah, much deserved.
But that pretty much wraps up our review here, our spoiler-free review. We did it, Devin. We did it. Spoiler-free all the way through here on the Film Optix podcast. What might be coming up on the podcast, you might be asking yourself, listener at home. So as of right now, man, we have so much stuff come out. We have our Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 episode up that we did, that we joined with Nicole Ackman from Next Best Picture and JD Duran from In Session Film. We have our Euphoria Season 2 review, spoiler Season 2 review with the lovely AMX NDA reviews. We did that about a few days ago, so that I believe that is one of our most recent episodes as well. And of course, we covered The Batman, not only once, but twice. So definitely check out our non-spoiler review and our spoiler-heavy review of The Batman that Mr. Crockpot, aka Dibes from the Suit Up Geeks podcast, came to join us and on. So definitely check out all that goodness. We have a lot of fun things coming up on the podcast here. We have Turning Red that comes out this week as of this recording. And I believe X comes out soon too. But Devin, the most important thing is, are you ready to spring ahead? Because that's right. March 12th, it's coming up. No more Super Dark Nights at 5 p.m. No more feeling like it's 12 a.m. at 5 p.m. in the morning. Or in the morning or at night, I should say. Man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Give me some longer daylight. Summer is coming right around the corner. But before we go, I wanted to let you guys know to always make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your lover, whoever it may be. Share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. And of course, you can always leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That definitely helps us out a lot when it comes to you guys rating us and just giving us some nice little feedback, things that we can work on, things that we can improve on, because we're always looking to improve. Again, we just want to thank everybody for coming on. Devin, of course, and myself, but I want to thank you all for listening out there. So we're going to close on out. And we hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the future.